Hey everybody, welcome back to dungeongurunet. This is nethervoid, also known as John, doing another strategy series for this week, since it is Wednesday, and today I'm doing it on the M3 Leave. Had a few requests for this, and it is a pretty difficult tank to learn how to drive, especially if you haven't driven any TDs. Like, I know when I drove this thing, I'd never driven any TDs, except like maybe the Jag 1 or something like that. It's like, I've never really driven them seriously, so this tank was pretty hard to figure out. And that's because, like a TD, it doesn't have a turret that turns, even though it looks like it has one. This is actually the active gun on this tank, so in that way it's pretty tough to play. And right off the bat, that's kind of how you play it. You play it a lot like a TD if you've driven the Stug. It's very mobile like the Stug. The only problem is it's got a much higher profile than the Stug, and the armor's worse than the Stug, so it's much easier to damage. Obviously the gun is not as good as the Stug either, but that's the point, is you play it kind of like a fast TD, flanking TD. Basically, don't be really aggressive with this tank unless you're the top tier and everybody's relying on you to be aggressive. You just don't be aggressive with this tank and you'll do fine. The gun's really good on it, and that's why you can be kind of aggressive at times. This tank does fare better than other tier 4s, namely the B1, which has a horrible gun, but good armor. This thing has not great armor. It's not bad. I do get some bounces on same tiers and stuff, but the gun on this thing is pretty amazing for a tier 4. It's pretty nice. So as far as stats, 310 hit points is pretty standard for tier 4 medium. 440 engine power, pushing 28 tons. It's pretty speedy. It's got a little bit of get up. 38 speed limit. It probably gets into the 30s. It's pretty fast, actually. 43 traverse speed. That's pretty good, especially for TD style tank here. And armor is actually not too bad for tier 4. 51, 38, 38 for hull, and 51 all the way around on the turret armor, which is funny because usually when I shoot at this thing, I shoot at the turret up here. And actually, you probably just want to shoot right here because, like a lot of the lower American tiers, this part of the tank is probably really armored. I'm just going to say that it is because it's like all the other tanks that have the same shape. So I usually shoot for the turret when I'm trying to pin this thing, even though it's 51 all over on the front here. So getting right down into turret verse, that doesn't really matter. It's a TD style. View range 315. Now this is after the patch, and these ranges were reduced a lot. This is actually a pretty good view range for a tier 4 tank. 315 is actually pretty good. If you're kind of worried about it, you can put some binocs on there and get it up to, you know, in about the 400 range, 4 something. 615 signal range on this top radio is pretty good. The stock radio is 265, which is pretty bad. Actually, again, these have also been reduced, the radio ranges, so this is actually still pretty good radio ranges. This is probably the old range was like more like 7 something. So that's still really great. 265 is not that good. The 325 is much better. So we're going right into modules here. So when you start out with the stock radio, you shouldn't even have to start out with that. You should already have the tier 9 unlocked from the M2 Lite if you unlocked everything like I recommend. So throw that bad boy right on right away, and you're going to have great radio the whole time with this tank. And it's really crucial, especially if you're getting better at the game because you're watching these videos and you're lasting longer, you're not dying so quickly. Toward the end of the game, a lot of your allies are going to be spread all over the map, and they might not have really good radios, and so you having a bigger radio is going to help you keep in contact with those guys. It's going to help your credits and XP a lot because you're radioing back information to the enemy team, or I mean to your team and stuff. Tracks, 40 degrees per second is really good for stock tracks, but 43, hey, that's even better, especially for TDs. You need as much traverse as possible on your tracks. But 40 is not bad. You're gonna have it. You're not gonna. I never felt like it was too slow. So really good tracks. Also, you do not need the tracks to load all the modules and radios and stuff, all the upgrades. So you can get by with the stock tracks for a while, and we'll talk about that when we go over research. Engine, 400 hit point. God, I keep doing that. 400 horsepower engine is pretty good. Going up to 440 is a slight increase. I mean, definitely get it, but it's not huge like on other tanks. It's 10%. So 400 still feels pretty good. I felt okay with the stock engine. No turret upgrades because it's a TD style tank. Now the first gun at 16 rounds per minute and 90 penetration with 110 damage is really good. The stock gun's really good on this thing. This could easily have been 60 pen like on other tier 4s. or even 70, but 90 penetration on a tier 4 gun is pretty good. That's why I don't think the M3 Lee is actually that bad of a tank. It just plays a lot like a TD, so you have to play it like a TD. Now, when you get the upgrade, 20 rounds per minute with 92 pen and 110 damage, this is actually a pretty beastly gun for a tier 4. And you'll see in the video, one of the videos I show, I pretty much dominate because of it. The only thing is, with the crappy crew you're going to have, it's not very accurate, which is like a lot of other tier 4s, but needless to say, the T40 is much more accurate than this gun, T40's gun, but still, it's an awesome gun. So let's talk about some research. So here we are on the M3 Lee's tech tree, and it's not a very big tech tree. You should already have both of these radios unlocked from the M2 Lite or even below that. If you have done the T40, that's one of the American TD lines, you will have this engine unlocked. If not, well, you won't. So I would obviously throw these radios on right away. You don't have to research those. And the first thing I would research is probably this gun. You don't need the tracks to unlock anything because that'll help you get a lot more damage output, and it's going to help you a lot. The M3 Lee, the whole strength of this tank is the big gun. So I would get the faster reloading gun first. And then, especially since these are they're pretty similar. And then after that, I would just get the tracks and then the engine. And then I would get the tank of choice. And I would keep this tank and keep grinding to get both of these tanks unlocked because it unlocks 2 different lines. So that's what I would do with the M3 Lee. I would go big gun, tracks, then engine, and then tank of choice, and then actually the other tanks. So you'll see it up on here on the side, the priority list, and that's it for research. So now let's talk about some equipment. I don't really deal with equipment until I get to about tier 7, and that's because by the time you get to tier 7, the amount of upgrading of your tank to the next tier slows down quite a bit, and you can, kind of grind up some cash to afford some equipment and put it on tanks. But hey, if you can get it early, it's fine, and if you have the gold to move it, it's only 10 gold a piece. It's not really a lot. But if you want to just buy some equipment that's free to move, you can do that too. And I would definitely get the camel net because you're going to be playing this thing a lot like a TD because, in the higher tier matches and stuff, you won't be able to push. And binocs are also a great idea, especially for TDs. And what this does is increase your spotting range by a lot. It puts it into the 400 range, the theoretical limit being 445 for spotting. And also the toolbox, especially since your crew's going to be pretty crappy, and they're not going to be able to repair your tank very quickly, so the toolbox will help a lot as far as getting tracked and stuff, especially in a TD style tank, but you need to have that traverse so you don't get circled or people to move in behind you. If you are going to spend gold, I would definitely put vent, rammer, and man, this is a tough one because if you're going heavies, I'd put the spall liner, but if you're going mediums, because this is where you branch off, I would put the vert stab, so I would not get anything else. So if you're going medium route, get vent, rammer, and probably the toolbox. That's what I would get, or the binocs. It's kind of up to you. If you're going heavy route, get the vents, the spall liner, and the rammer. So that's what I get for equipment. And as far as rounds, 40 to 10 is pretty good. I never run out of AP, but having a lot of HE is great for when you go up in those heavier tier matches and you need to shoot somebody in the gun or try to contribute from the front. It's kind of hard to do when you're playing a TD. I don't put any consumables on because it's just not cost productive. You just don't make enough on these tanks to be spending 3K per pop on these consumables, and the games are usually over pretty quickly. So your crew is probably going to look like this, something like this, or 60% or something. If you are going to grind out both tanks lines, which I do recommend, then this crew will probably be in like the 65 range. And that would be good because then you don't have to come back through this tank and grind out the other line if you want to, say like you went the heavy route, you don't have to come back and buy the M3 Lee again, get a whole new crew and all that stuff just to grind out the Sherman. So just unlock both tanks. That's what I'd probably do. So anyway, that's this tank, and let's go throw this thing in some games. So here I am, spawned on Murovonka. Great little map, especially for the M3 Lee since it's you're going to be treating it as a TD. And I'm here with andrewpunk in this game. I thought, we're in tier 4s. Andrew's got a tier 4. Let's just, let's platoon. So squashing this little bunker here as always, especially on this map because people like to hide behind it. Andrew's in his T28. We're going to go sit in the magic forest and kill noobs. So, excuse me. I've got like a billion of these videos now. I think I got like, this is 37 or something. And I think I need to slow down with the 2 tanks a week pretty soon because I'm running out. I'm going to start running out of tanks. So I am watching, this is actually an MP4 Frapsed replay. I think that, oh, that's an M3 Lee. Oh, from the side, that's going to be a perfect shot. Of course I missed. That's a crew right there. Oh, he stops. Bam! Look at that. That's heavy damage. 129 damage right there. Nice. And then Andrew got the killing blow. It was a 1-2 punch. That was a M2 that died right there. So we're crushing the corner down here. You can do this. It's pretty cool. Especially since we're not doing anything over there at B4 except basically holding them up. We need to crush this corner, this bottom corner. Excuse me, man. So, you know, let me check. I want to see how many of these I have. How many more weeks I'm going to be doing these 2 times here. 2 tanks per week. Just going to open up my garage. Where's the button? There it is. I know I have the Stug at least, as far as stuff that I bought while it was on sale that I've already done. T28, easy to kill. If he's got the big gun though, that can be really, that can be a big problem. So let's see what we got here. So we're poning them pretty good, even though we're only up 2 tanks right now, because look at, we're already moving across the map here because we're jacking them up so bad. Now we're, oh, there they are. I was wondering where their other tanks were. So that could be a problem. I'm sure when we clear out the south, we're going to move up north and take those guys out. So I'm logging in my account, and I'm going to see how many tanks I still have to do. I know I'll be doing 2 tanks again next week, but I'm not sure about the week after that. Okay, so I've got the PZ. Oh, I've got the PZ4 as well, so I could do 2 more weeks of 2 tanks apiece. What I don't want to do is not be able to keep up with 1 tank a week, and when you get into the higher tiers, it can get hard to get all the way through a tank and be able to do a strategy series on it in 1 week. You know, depending on how much I've been grinding. So this guy's pretty crippled. This would be easy shot. Nice. He's dead. So we've got the whole south of the map taken care of. 9-4 game. This is pretty much over. And you've seen this. This is the strength of the M3 Lee. You can see I'm moving pretty fast. The only problem really is gun accuracy, and again that's because of the crew and also that aiming speed right there. But look at that, I even pinned a PZ4 no problem. Did 93 damage to him. I'm doing heavy damage. That was a crit shot on the tracks. You can tell this is a 7.1.1 game because I still have the ringing from the critical hits. So we pretty much taken this whole thing. Let's see what they're doing. Oh, they're RTBing. Well, that's the church. This guy is going to be tough to pen. These guys have really good armor, especially even for the M3 Lee. It's pretty tough to hit these guys. And I probably should have ran. I probably should have got out of the way and ran toward the east and hid more behind houses so I could flank this guy. But it doesn't really matter. We got 5 guys in the cap. There's no way he's going to be able to take them all out. Now they're shooting Andrew because he's the green party bus. Easy credits, easy target. So, fail shot by my crew right there, hitting a barn instead of the actual tank. Critical hit on the tracks, no damage. Awesome. He's hiding behind something, I'm not sure what that is. There we go, 107 damage on the tier 5. And I'm probably going to die, except that we win the game? Yes! So, 336 XP, that's not very good. Well, I mean, it's not bad, but I would normally expect for a good game to be like 500 to 700 XP on this tank. I got no kills. Much better game here now on steps. I mean, the M3 Lee generally gets pretty good matchmaking, but as a tier 4 you can get matched up against tier 6s and 7s, and there's really not much you can do about it. The best thing you can do in that point is try to play as a TD, hang way back, do some flank stuff, put some HE into enemy guns. There's not a lot else you can do. You can pen tier 6 and 7 on the side though with the M3 Lee, because this is a pretty good tank. And then what I wanted you to show you with these 2 games is how this is actually a pretty good tank. It's not that bad like people think it is. It's got the big gun on it. It's much better than the B1 because I can kill a B1 in I think 3 shots, possibly 4. But it doesn't matter. I can pen that guy all day. He's gonna have a hard time penetrating me. These shots are probably gonna bounce. So, I usually do like to go west on this map, as long as someone's covering east, at least with a few tanks, and that's what we have. Here's someone trying to come right up the center. Not a great idea on this map, especially so early in the game when we haven't really spread out yet. Wish I could have pushed Alt to know what this guy is. Oh, he's PZ3. So, M2 as well there, and another medium, but I'm going to take this guy out because he's low, and he's probably the biggest threat there. He's dead. Now the M2... Oops, we had a little bit of pause on accident there. M2, easy target here. Look at that, big damage. Now who do we have? Is that another PZ3? I think it is. Yep. Let's go after that guy. We can't have him run around in our base. So I'm going to pwn this guy right here. Hopefully my crew is with me on this one. Yes. See, this thing's a beast. It's kind of like a Ferdinand. You know how Ferdinand is pretty beast at tier 8? The big gun, and it's pretty heavy in the front. Nobody wants to really go up against it. I play this tank like that tank. The only reason this tank gets a bad rap is because it's a tier 4 and it gets matched up against tanks that are way higher in hit points and damage and everything than this tank. Like unproportionally larger. Look at their team. It looks like they're camping. That's pretty bad for them. Usually if you camp, you lose in this game. You should not be camping. Ever, really. Even TDs need to move up and help add damage to the enemy on whatever flank they're on. You should not be camping. So we're gonna go. We pretty much have that hill area right there. It's a really fun place to dogfight and stuff. M4's up in there, and he just got lit on fire, so that's good for us. I think I almost prefer this to the M4. I think I just like the gun better. Although you can put the 105 on the M4, which is really cool, but you can also put the 105 on the T82, so whatever. So that guy gets pwned before I can do anything. I actually wanted to go that way, but you can't go through right there. So I have to go all the way around, which really stinks. What a waste of time. Now see how I'm turning with this thing? Tight turns. Do not flank way out, because you expose your side armor. Do tight turns. Now this thing has redonkulous armor. Oh, he's dead, so I guess it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much armor you have if you're dead. This is probably a good game, although our east flank is pretty much done. So I'm going to RTB. And I generally find myself doing this in most games I'm in now. That's why my capture points and my stats is suffering. Because when our flank is pretty much crushed everybody, I almost always turn around to make sure that the other side does not get crushed and we don't get capped. Because if I move early toward the base, I don't put ourselves... Basically, if you keep going toward your cap, thinking you're going to cap first and the enemy, there's no way they're going to break through because, I don't know, there's even an amount of tanks or something. You risk not being able to get back to the cap fast enough to take out the enemy. Also, you risk dying before you can even decide to turn around and go back. So I just decide to go back early, and that saves me a lot of hassle a lot of the times. A lot of the times I don't need to turn around, and so I end up wasting time and not getting any more damage on people. But as you can see in this case, it's really a good thing that I turned around when I did. Here's another M3 Lee. Missed him. Shooting at the body, I think I just missed, period. But I hit him in the cupola right there, or top of the turret. So he got jacked up. Now we're both capping at the same time, so I really need to make these shots count. This is where you can shoot the guy in the tracks and it's fine. There and bam, like that. You don't have to get any more damage than that. Now I'm going to move in. These guys are pretty weak. Side shot on the M3 Lee. You really should be aiming at me, not that other guy. Well, I guess it's Artie. But Artie, it doesn't matter where you aim. The Artie's going to hit you pretty hard anyway. So I would have aimed at me as another M3 Lee because then your good armor's in the front. So this is a lock, but I'm just going in for extra credits and kills. And I don't get the shot. I tried to shoot because I knew we were capping soon. Great game on the M3 Lee here. 3 kills, showing you a 1,000-point game, 13,000 credits. Nobody got medals, but I killed 3, damaged 2, and detected 2 guys. That was those 2 guys coming up the center. So that's going to do it for this time, and I'll see you actually tomorrow.